This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Always follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. We're live as always. Downtown Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Busy hour coming up. Matt Youmans on the program. We'll talk about what happened yesterday, the news to the Westgate selling to Caesars, and his final look at draft bets for tomorrow night's event. And right now, Doug Kezirian joins the program. He's in studio. The website is dougkezirian.com. He's also part of the Because We Win podcast. How are you, pal? Good to see you today.
Good to be with you guys. It's nice to get out of the house every couple days. Doesn't happen every day. That's important.
Here's what we're going to do. In 15 minutes, we'll remind people that you won $300,000 on the draft like 5 years ago now, and we'll get into what you like for tomorrow night. You're also a big spot bettor when it comes to the NBA. How does that change when the playoffs get here?
Yeah, it's different kind of spots. To your point, zigzag theory. I heard you guys last hour or so discuss it. I was not on the Rockets last night. I just felt that they're dysfunctional and they're a road favorite to begin this series. I just didn't buy it. Like, I thought they should have been underdogs in game one. Given what we saw with the Lakers the last week of the regular season, and really this Houston team is just deeply flawed. They're all afraid to make a mistake. Udoka wants to fight everyone.
Yes.
It's just a toxic situation. Durant is not the guy we all want him to make him out to be. And the Lakers, whether you want to be corny and say LeBron, and they're all they've all been empowered, all the role players. And they have defined roles. You're not going to have Jared Vanderbilt going one-on-one on, maybe Marcus Smart shoots a little bit too much, but he's earned that right, and especially when he was shooting well the first couple games of the series. So they're going to play with more confidence. They're empowered. LeBron obviously gets guys involved. I think the spacing out of the series helped LeBron. And so I just think I don't want to just mess with this Rockets team. I just think the number is wrong. And there's a tax on them that's just unjustifiable. But I do like Detroit tonight a lot. Whatever the number is, just play it.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, you can't overthink it. Yeah. Could it land 9? Sure. Could they lose? I mean, yes, in the first game, the eye test, everything. But at some point, the zigzag theory, what was it, 2 years ago, where it was just outrageous? Like, it would hit like 15 in a row. The zigzag theory is not just who lost, that's who you back, although that would have been good, obviously, in game 2 the last couple days. It's really, if the home team or favorite, sometimes it's both, right, off an outright loss, you bet them, right? So that obviously applies. And it's always been game 2 if they lose game 1. Road team, the narrative is they got what they came for, at least a split. And also the Orlando Magic, there's a gas tank component to this. They had a big game on Friday for the play-in, then game 1. I think Jalen Duren's the key here. I didn't think he played with the ferocity that he normally does, the chip on his shoulder, the us against the world, the just kind of FU mode that he always brings. I think he's going to have a big game, and that'll open up, make the game easier for guys like Tobias Harris and whatnot.
This doesn't make any sense that Orlando was so bad the entire season and awful in the Philadelphia game in the play-in, and Ben Carroll looked like he didn't want to be there. And then the reports, we want Mosley out. And then they thumped Charlotte in a bad spot. They never trailed against Detroit.
It's the classic case. Go back a couple years ago in the NFL. This is definitely a stretch, but just stay with me here.
Yeah.
Remember the Raiders played a Thursday night game at home to the Chargers, and they won by like 50.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Right.
The Chargers, the next game, had the Easton Stick at quarterback, and we're hosting the Bills. The Bills were like 15-point favorites.
Yeah.
And I think the Chargers won outright, right? It was a Saturday during
was
Christmas.
that the Brandon Staley fired game?
Yes, one of those games. Yeah.
All right.
Basically, you don't get to this level without being a competitive player, right? These guys don't get to the NBA, NFL, and whatnot. So if a team gets absolutely smoked or embarrassed, they're going to bounce back. So, yes, I liked Charlotte in that game because of the regular season matchups and everything. But you had one team that got undressed, and the other team was off like a buzzer-beater emotional win. So that's what happened in that game.
Yeah. Wow.
The one caveat for the Magic is if it's finally coming together and everyone's healthy and guys like Franz Wagner, if Wagner's going to play like that, then maybe the Magic are much better than their seed and, finally putting it together. But I'm a little nervous with Detroit bet because Bane didn't play all that great, right?
Yes.
Bane's going to bounce back and have a better game.
How about this
but
losing
Suggs,
streak?
all these guys, I know. I don't care about past years. I mean, the Knicks series was weird last year, so I don't worry about previous regimes unless it's like decades old or whatever. It's like a house of horrors in the stadium or arena. But I think that it just bounced back. I think it comes to desperation and all that stuff.
So then what about game 2 tonight? I mean, this number it's just funny. I don't know how you don't laugh. I mean, the Thunder are laying 17.
I don't get it. I think you have to play the dog. I think you play the dog first quarter. Remember, so I thought the Detroit-Orlando game would go like the OKC game did, right?
Yeah.
The Friday, you emptied the gas tank to get into the playoffs, and then they were down 35-20 after one. They kind of played them straight up. They should get pounded in the paint, but it's a big number. First quarter is like 4.5, 5. I think you play first quarter. With the first half lines, you got to be careful with teams that aren't that deep and the teams that are. So because the second quarter substitution pattern. Yeah. So the Thunder are really deep. That second unit is excellent. So you got to be careful there. That's why I prefer first quarter than first half of the Suns team. But Phoenix may have just been one of those regular season teams. The Phoenix flu factoring in a little bit, catching teams, and they were just a really well-coached, solid team. But if they're getting maximum effort from the defending champs in one seed, then maybe, they're not a covering machine like they were during the regular season.
Are you your level of concern with San Antonio and Denver?
Well, San Antonio because of the Wemby injury. Denver, a little bit. They did look gassed, which is weird, but they always find a way. I like the role players. I mean, Cam Johnson is a little shaky and some of these other guys, but I don't trust Minnesota as far as I can throw them. They've been inconsistent and shaky all year. I think they are complete farce of an actual contender. Now, if they win a series or pull this up, fine. But you just can't be that inconsistent all year. It's a byproduct of lacking leadership and whatnot. I don't think you can actually win it all. I've been saying it about them and the T-Wolves. Sorry, them and the Rockets. Yeah. Those two teams, you just can't flip a switch and all of a sudden be great. They played well at times, and they obviously deserved the win. But it's not like they really played that great. Ant shot poorly. Gobert was pathetic offensively. And the Nuggets just missed a couple shots. They could easily be 2-0.
Here's what my lifelong Minnesota Timberwolves friend of mine said. The Wolves have been to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. The one year they went through Denver and got him in Game 7. And everybody says, including me, he says, the Wolves give the Nuggets a tough time. He said, why isn't it the other way around? Why don't we say the Nuggets give the Wolves a tough time? And I actually think he's got a point there.
Well, one's a defending, one has won a title in recent years
I
and
get
have been the
but,
higher seed.
Yeah.
But you're right. The architect obviously built it to beat Denver because that was sort of the blueprint when he took over. I just don't think Minnesota is reliable. If they were, the regular season's an indicator of what's going to happen in the postseason. Now, I said this about UConn, and of course, UConn was inconsistent and then goes to the championship game. So, obviously, but they were down 19 as well to Duke, and they were just super inconsistent. You don't lose by as a 17.5-point dog to to Creighton at home or whatever it was.
They lost both those games.
Yeah. Minnesota is kind of like that team. So I just don't think you can win 4 out of 7. I think it's coming back to Denver 2-2. So whoever loses Game 3, I'm going to bet Game 4.
Okay.
Sounds good. Keldon Johnson just won 6th Man of the Year. Follow the money.
That was a market.
Yeah. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Doug Kezirian, our guest, DougKezirian.com. Is there a bet to be made on the adjusted series price of the Lakers' small favorites, big dogs in the next 2? And then at some point, we think Reeves is coming back. And Game 7
He's expected to come back, not Luka.
Yeah, right. Game 7 is next Sunday.
Game 5 is a week from today.
Oh, my God.
What?
I'm not good at... So with all of this stuff, you have to just compartmentalize, right? So if you're betting live wagering, it's really about the next 3 minutes. Because why bet now? Then if you think the next 3 minutes this team's going to do well, then you take the live line. With the suggested series price, I would only look at the Lakers, and I think there's a chance they win Game 3. I kind of don't. As much as the market's inflated, I talked a second ago about guys being competitive. You don't get to this level. I don't know if we're ready for the MF and Kevin Durant, but I think he's going to have sort of one of those games where he got pushed around the entire game. I think the other guy's got to step up. If I'm Udoka, I play some of the scrubs that give me effort and that kind of stuff, and you maybe don't run the offense through Tari Eason in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
I mean, what was the bench? 3 of 25 from the field?
How did Shepard play 10 minutes?
I don't get it.
He's lost.
But they pick on, Kennard drives right at him, and they shoot a layup. There's no threat, no resistance whatsoever by Shepard out there defensively.
Oh, defensively, I know what you're going to get from the guy.
Giant liability.
He is.
But they're all afraid to shoot. They're all afraid of screwing up and getting yelled at.
Did you see this? Did you see this? 24% of their shots on the season come in the last 6 seconds of the shot clock.
No,
they don't run anything.
I agree. It's so elementary and embarrassing in this day and age. It reminded me of an offense in the 2000s when only 3 guys are really offensive threats. Nowadays, everyone's a stretch 5, stretch 4, can shoot threes. Yeah. You got to get a hand up. You got to go over every screen. This reminded me of a team where you can just leave dudes open. It's like Draymond sticks out like a sore thumb because you don't have to go out to him. They have 3 of those guys at times on offense next to Durant.
Do you have any interest in Raptors down 0-2 back at home?
Raptors hammer it. I'm surprised they're not favored.
So around the
Cavs
world,
are 3?
first quarter, first half game?
So typically, you get the tax. I would just play it because I think their bench is good enough that I think that second unit. Now, I do worry maybe the Cavs second unit shows up a little bit. And if Atkinson is smart, he's going to let those guys maybe go win it. Pop used to do that, or the Suns used to do that. Dragic won a game when they were up 2-0 like 15 years ago, I remember.
Wow, yeah.
You kind of roll the dice and, found money. I think the Cavs don't have – they're gutless at times. I think the Raptors should win this game. I really do. I think that psycho coach, Darko's not going to allow them to go down 0-3. I love the guy.
What is your read on Game 3, Knicks-Hawks going back to Atlanta?
I mean, I think it's the Knicks. I think it's – you guys have been on this Josh Hart thing. I think lead the game in rebounding is a really good bet because they're going to respond. The team that lost is going to have the tenacity, all that stuff, and that's rebounding, right? Ball finds effort, ball finds energy, like Jay Billis always says. Yeah. I think Hart's going to be double again, plus $3, that kind of thing. In terms of the side, I don't know. I go back and forth in these situations because should it be 2-0? Because what happens is the Knicks now have to win essentially 5 out of 7 games because they had that game won.
Yep.
The flip side is they were the better team. Proved it both, so I go back and forth. I tread lightly there because Atlanta's due for like a really good game and a really good response, even though it's technically 1-1.
Yeah, no, you're right because they had to hit the Knicks both times late with a big run to make it interesting and then win the game too.
Yeah, that was found money that game too.
I totally agree. Yep.
Get Brunson some help.
How about
McCollum's torching him?
Yeah, and have Towns take 28 shots.
Yeah.
More with Doug Kezirian coming up next. He won $300,000 betting the draft 5 years ago. We'll get his read of the betting market for tomorrow night's event next.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue here. Doug Kezirian with us in studio. Website is dougkezirian.com. Also does a lot of work for the New York Post and The Athletic. Your story, you kind of went down memory lane from 5 years ago. You didn't get into the entire story, but you were like, I won $300,000 and here's how I did it. I love this part is like, I got some information and I'm like, I better get my ass off the couch. And you went and hit a kiosk, and there you go. The rest is history, but it's up at The Athletic right now, and you can read it. And part of that is bettors know more than bookmakers for this event.
Well, it's kind of like the Olympics. They don't bring in experts to do this. It's, they have a staff that's good at this, obviously, on a day-to-day basis. Right. And it's like, hey, Jimmy, you got draft this year. Hey, Johnny, you got, swimming this year for the Olympics every 4 years. And it's just it's a much different animal. You can't just sit back, read the screen. It's like that meme from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with all the strings and everything. Yeah. And the volatility, that's the biggest difference. Obviously, the hold percentage accounts for an injury to Wemby or something like that, a guy who impacts this point spread. But that's not the case with the draft because these things can go from plus $4 to minus $4 like that.
Sure.
And we saw that going back a couple years, the Trey Lance draft and everything. It's just bananas. And if you are on top of this and you understand all the nuances that are involved with the draft, you are better equipped to handle this than the odds makers, even with their built-in hold percentage. And if you know certain people or you do it yourself and you're completely immersed in this stuff, there's ways to just sort of look at upside and budget. You really just, we talk about futures, right? Hey, they have this schedule coming up and this could play out over the next month if so-and-so gets hurt. Well, that's what the draft is. If you're making bets last week, you're like, hey, there's 10 more days of mock drafts. There's 10 more days of information that's going to surface. We don't know. So the farther out from the draft, you want obviously longer shots. You're not laying $4 Monday of draft week even. You don't know that much. It's lying season. That's what they call it, right?
So, when JBT and I recorded Pot of the Futures on Monday night, Reese was a $4 favorite to go second overall. And we were kicking that around like, is the market onto something right now? By the time we woke up the next day, Bailey was favored.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this because all the NFL mock draft guys that I respect, maybe all but one, all have Bailey going one.
Yep.
Or excuse me, two to the Jets. But the market has been bet the other way. So is it a group that's betting it? Now, if they have inside information, why are they stopping? If you have inside information, this thing's going to go to a million, right?
Sure.
So it stops and then it comes back the other way. I've literally never seen this. And it's the Jets, of course. It always adds some intrigue. But I'm just so curious. Now, I have plus money on Bailey, but I just, I don't understand the market moves. Again, it would go all the way to one side and stay there, but it's been bet back. So it's like, okay, it's some scalpers. Now, if it were 4 or 5, 6 years ago, it's like when the math guys started seeing squares who don't have models and spreadsheets started making them on the draft, they thought they could do it, and they realized they got hit over the head and how hard it is. Fine, but it's not syndicates. I'm very curious what's happening in this market, and hopefully it comes out. I'm just more of the betting nerd in me wants to know what happened.
Yeah. Right. That was a good answer also because I want to see what happens coming up in the prediction markets. Well, if you know the answer, someone's going to have the information.
But we're seeing it with the UFC, right? Some of the overturned things at the last second. The prediction markets stay open all the way, even during, up until commissioners walking up the podium. I wonder how it's all going to play out because this is, we say this sort of like casually, we're only in the second inning of legalized betting because it happened in 2018. We're still a ways. It's really new in prediction markets. And it's sort of, the whole place is sort of not exactly supervised or monitored.
I am going to, tomorrow night, specifically watch the draft with prediction markets on the screen the entire time. I'm going to be in the office with like Kelshi up on my computer on at least one monitor, and I'm going to track it, and I want to mark how many times that they're accurate, right?
Why stop there? Drive to the border. Let's go. Get in California.
Well, I don't know if we drive to like a different border, can we actually get on there? Because now we can't bet in Nevada. We had to give them our driver's license. Right. I don't think we can even bet if we go to a different state.
They changed that. When I was in San Fran for the Super Bowl, I did just look at stuff. I think it's okay, but
Yeah. So I want to see though, like when
you go to Mitchell Brothers?
When pick number 3 is on the clock, what's happening to pick number 4 already?
Right.
And when a guy gets to minus 2,000, for example, are they right every single time?
Yeah.
Well, and it reminds me, just the draft in general, the guys who chase steam, things like that, yeah. It can get away from you. You hear all this stuff.
Sure.
Odds makers hate it. It's easy. They lose every year. And then you think it's just free money. It's like a supermarket sweep. You're just running in.
Yeah.
No.
It's like Evan Silva said.
Right.
One trade, you're screwed.
Right. So I didn't make money the year the Texans had the back-to-back. If they had just taken
if they flipped
Williams,
it
would have been cleaned up. But but that was the most trades ever on draft day that year.
Okay.
So obviously that stuff. So you got to be careful. You always want to look plus money. You chase minus money. But again, minus 500 could have value. Like corners under 4.5 is minus $5 range. That's probably still value right now.
You think so?
Yeah, but you're just not going to make a lot of money doing that.
Right.
So would you rather do that, or because it could be minus 2,000 in a day, or hell, in an hour, right? So, but again, there's just unknowns with injuries and things like that to the Tennessee guy. But it's a slippery slope if you don't know what you're doing. So just be careful out there if you're new to it. Monitor it. Definitely take notes. Monitor it. And every year's different. You guys earlier were talking about Saquon. And the Giants are not going to draft Love but it is a copycat league, right? So the 2 tight ends last year have been proved to be huge, payoffs to the teams. So maybe Sadiq out of Oregon does go higher. Trey Lance, that was the year that Mahomes was the toast of the town. I think Ashton Genty is going to kind of scar some people and maybe be a little concerned with taking Jeremiah Love. Now, different kind of guys, but hold a running back that high when you're not a running back away from a Super Bowl run. But for example, if there was a offensive left tackle with short arms this year, he'd absolutely slide because of Will Campbell in the Super Bowl. There's definitely sort of like recency implications that you have to factor in because you're evaluating people making a decision, kind of like the awards markets, not just performance on the field.
What do you have for us? What else you got?
All right. I don't have a huge 100-to-1 long shot.
All right.
Caleb Banks, round 1 plus 500 at DraftKings right now.
Okay.
So he's the monster out of Florida who was projected like top 20, all this stud stuff. Did well at the combine, but then quit in the middle of it because he got like a foot injury. But Pelissaro, I believe today, said everything's cleared medically. He could go top 20. You're getting plus 500. And it's worth mentioning. Obviously, the top 3 picks are kind of predictable sometimes. But as you get to the teens and 20, who knows, right? Guy who's projected in the 40s. Like, you shouldn't take a guy minus 200 who's supposed to go at the end of the first round in that index. Like, so many curveballs can have trades into the first round. So you should look for upside. I think, and then he's, there's some question marks, but as you get late in the draft, teams are more willing to roll the dice with the upside. They don't do a top 10, but I think Caleb Banks at that number is worth, a fun bet.
Okay. Is that the one?
So last year we had two minus 110s that both hit. We had a safety and a corner kind of thing, or a head-to-head. I think safety's under 2.5 plus money. It was in the plus 200 range.
You got Downs. You got the kid from Oregon.
Yeah, but guys are falling too. So there's the guy from Toledo, right? The hyphenated name.
Yep.
He could fall. I forget, is it Daniel Jeremiah, the one guy who loved him? He's loved him all along. He's saying that he could fall out of the first round. So plus 200. Safety is not a priority position. That's the thing that's really important. The linebacker and safety are the ones. It's kind of like that tweener thing with edge and linebacker. So I think Ty Simpson's going to go in the 20s. All these other guys, you run out of real estate for these picks in the 20s. If there's a run on wide receivers, maybe the back end Boston goes and stuff like that. So you start running it, and then safety is just not a priority.
Yeah. When will you trust the steam in the market? Is that tomorrow? Is it
Never.
Well,
what do you mean by steam? I think you said team.
No, steam. Yeah. Yeah.
I think things are changing so much now with prediction markets. I kind of have to take inventory again because you're right. But here's the other thing: if you miss a minus $5, who cares? Okay,
let it go.
Right. That's what I think the books. I'm not going to share all my thoughts, but I think if the books wanted to get better at the draft, they would not fear favorites like they do.
Okay.
Who cares if a guy's 450 and they're betting it? Just let them. Who cares?
You're known in these parts.
Don't move it to $6 and let the others come 4-1s and 5-1s.
Yeah, you're known in these parts as the NHL kid.
Dougie Pucks.
Dougie Pucks, yes. You've been doing. You're just
So I co-host a show with Mike Carver. Used to work at Sports Grid now, where we do it at Betting Weekly Live, and he's been great. He's the hot guy. So I just listen. You guys know this. Some of the stuff we get too lost in the weeds. Just listen. And stuff sounds right, and you've been doing this long enough.
There's no way you can concentrate on every single sport as one single human being. Can't happen.
Or you can extract information and just take a macro approach, why don't you just bet first period or team to score first or whatever, right? Like the Stars the other night. I bet team to score first in game 2 to bounce back instead of first period money line. I did both, but sometimes a prop like first to 20 in the NBA is better than quarter, especially if Jokic subs out with 2 minutes to go. Things like that, you just got to listen and piecemeal it together, so to speak, if you've been doing the betting thing long enough.
Mm-hmm. And overall,
first period unders
have been awesome
bounce
so
back
far.
Spot. So he loves the Penguins tonight on the road.
Oh,
yeah, just bounce back, season on the line kind of thing.
Season on the line.
But he likes the Flyers to advance. He said that
home ice might not mean anything in that series.
Does it ever in the series or in the sport?
Good.
I mean,
very good. Good to see you.
Thanks, Doug.
By the way, Soriano,
What about?
Yeah.
amazing.
Isn't it?
Great
Amazing.
start. Couldn't ask for anything more.
Where do you get this?
0.2.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of baseball left.
So first pitcher ever to give up 1 earn in his first 6 starts of the season.
Yeah, I'll take
Ohtani
it.
could catch him though. He's got 2 more starts.
Yeah, you're right. DougKezirian.com is the website.
Good, Dad.
There you go.
Doug's going to be hanging out June 13th.
Yes, he is.
We're taking over Circa, the world's
do it.
largest sports book. Open bar, all you can eat. Don't miss out. VSiN.com/Beyond the Booth. The 3 of us, June 13th, 1 to 5, sweat bets, NBA Finals, World Cup. Come on. Open bar, all you can eat. VSiN.com/Beyond the Booth. VSiN.com/Beyond the Booth. June 13th. See you then.
Pauly, that image needs jeans. I've only seen you at Circa Spool with jeans on.
Jeans and a hoodie when it's 114.
Yeah. There's no shorts. There's no shorts for Pauly at Stadium Swim.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
A lot to get into here with VSiN host Matt Youmans. He joins the program on the Progressive Guest Line Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern. His usual spot. Matt, thanks for the time as always. We appreciate it. What was your reaction yesterday to the news that the infamous sportsbook out here known as the Westgate, a place that you and I and Pauly, most of us have been to countless times over the years. We absolutely love it. They are selling to Caesars.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming for several months, so I was not that surprised. It was just a matter of who was going to take over the book. And when David Siegel, owner of the Westgate, died, you'd heard his family wanted to ship the book out and let somebody else run it. And, I had talked to Derek Stevens about that, and I think Derek had made a bid on it. And I was hoping that, Circa Sports would take it over. If somebody's going to take it over, I was hoping it was going to be Circa. And it's not the case. Obviously, Caesars William Hill gets it. I was prepared for it. It's not the end of the world. It sucks. Consolidation definitely sucks because you got fewer lines. And this continues to happen in Vegas. It's not the first time it's happened. So It's disappointing, but, you go back over 20 years, I'm going to say about 22 years when Jay Cornegay moved his staff from Imperial Palace to the Westgate. Ed Salmons, Jeff Sherman, Matt Metcalf, and all those guys moved over there. I think that's been the number one sports book in Vegas for the last 2 decades, until Circa Sports comes along and challenges it. And you can say Circa is definitely the number one book right now. But it's been my favorite sports book to hang out at. Things change, and we'll get over it. I'm just hoping, I'm pretty certain those guys are going to land on their feet. Like, I would expect John Murray's going to stay at the Westgate. Mm-hmm. Needs someone to run the book, to handle customer relations, to run the super contest. Murray's perfect for that. Ed Salmons, Jeff Sherman, all their talented odds makers are going to find places to go. Could be Circa, could be somewhere else. But I will say this. The product that William Hill Caesars is putting out is not that bad. And I was at the M Resort last night. Talk about another book that used to be great. And it's not the same anymore. But M Resort has the William Hill NFL Draft props up. And they had a pretty impressive menu. Mitch, I know you and Paul, you guys are betting the NFL Draft like I am. And there was a lot up at William Hill. And I managed to bet several props out there. So that's a decent product. It's just always disappointing when you see the great sports books like this sell out and you have one fewer line you could bet. That's been our favorite place to hang out, a bunch of guys that we respect. Yeah. But I think all those guys are going to be fine.
I echo your sentiments, and also it's insane what they have on the in-play. I mean, they got like League Two soccer in-play, what they have. They're doing a great job. You did a great job with your article. Walk us through some of your best bets and what you did as far as the NFL draft, and you can read it at VSiN.com.
Well, I don't know if I did a great job on that or not. That'll be judged tomorrow night when the first round's over. If I'm wrong about everything, it's not going to be a great job, but we'll see. The thing about this draft, I think this is one of the most unpredictable drafts I've seen in a long time. I mean, we're talking about the last 20 years or so. I go back, the worst draft I can remember, and you guys probably recall this, the 2013 draft when Eric Fisher went number 1 to the Chiefs. That draft was terrible. This draft is obviously doesn't have the high-end quarterback talent, but still pretty good draft. I just think the top 10 is so unpredictable. I didn't want to make too many bets. And obviously we couldn't make too many bets because the draft props are just not as abundant as they used to be. The market's dried up. You got a lot of bookmakers who don't want to put anything up on this. Fortunately, DraftKings, FanDuel, like we said, William Hill, some other books out there, Chuck Esposito out of Red Rock. So fortunately, we got enough to pick from. I just made my last prop bet about 15 minutes ago, right before I jumped on with you guys. I'm out at the Red Rock Sportsbook. I took the Ravens to select an offensive lineman with their first pick at plus 130. And I think of that number 14 spot, they're going to take the guard from Penn State. So that's, I think, my 16th bet on the draft, and it's going to be the last one I make. And I'll ask you guys, there's a prop up at DraftKings right now. You can pick the exact order of the first 3 picks. Mendoza, Bailey, and Love. And that was 5-1 odds last night, plus 500. I almost bet that. And I didn't bet it because there's such a high probability that we're going to have trades in the top 10. The Cardinals and the Browns are looking to move down. Chiefs and the Cowboys looking to move up. I think the Cowboys would probably trade with the Browns in that number 6 spot. I don't know what I really don't know what the Cardinals are going to do at number 3, but I do have some intel because I know someone who's well connected to the Cardinals and said there's no way they're taking Arvell Reese. And that if Love is there at the 3rd spot, if they don't trade down, they're taking Love in the 3rd spot. So that 5-1 prop there on the exact order of Mendoza, Bailey, Love is actually somewhat attractive. I think you can still bet that at DraftKings right now. But you guys are following the sources. This is insane. I know. One day the Jets are taking Arvell Reese. The next day they're taking David Bailey. And this comes from different credible sources all over the board. I mean, the information on this draft is all over the place. I think it's tough to predict, but I've nailed down some props I like. I'll reel them off here in a minute. But, I mean, how many bets do you guys have on this draft? I think it's tough to have more than 15.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, we talked about 17-1 with that exacta because a source with the Giants thinks Arizona could go Maui Noa there at number 3, and the Giants love them. So we thought maybe the exacta there, 17-1, isn't bad. But you're right about this team likes these guys, but if there's one trade, the whole thing goes to hell.
Yeah. I mean, that's the dominoes. One trade could make the dominoes fall a different way, and then you're screwed on a bunch of those bets. I was told that the Cardinals are not taking the lineman. That they're taking Love if they stick at number 3. Owner wants him. New coach Mike LaFleur wants him. And, we can argue all day whether or not it makes sense to take a running back as talented as Jeremiah Love at number 3. We don't have time for that. But I think the Cardinals would probably just take the best player available at number 3 if they can't trade down.
What else do you like that's still available, Matt?
If you can find Caleb Downs to go to the Giants, bet it. I've been looking all over the place trying to find, you've got some books up with, you can bet Jeremiah Love to be drafted by the Cardinals. I've got Ty Simpson at plus 130 to go to the Cardinals. I bet that about 3-4 weeks ago. But Caleb Downs is going to go to the Giants. And I probably don't feel more certain about anything than that. I don't know if he's going to go in the 5 spot or the 10 spot. Are the Giants going to take Love if he's there at 5? Would they take Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver? That's possible. But I've heard that from very good sources that the Giants love Caleb Downs, and they might take him 5. And that if they don't get him at 5, they're going to take him at 10.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. I did bet David Bailey to be the number 2 pick at minus 150. But I got to say that kind of canceled out a bet that I had on Arvell Reese before, because I got tired of all the flip-flopping on who the Jets are going to take at number 2. And who knows who they're going to take. I did bet Sonny Styles to go with the number 4 pick to the Titans at plus 450. And I think this makes a lot of sense because you're talking about a coach, Robert Saleh, who was in San Francisco, and he had Fred Warner as a sideline-to-sideline linebacker, great run stopper. And I think he probably envisions Sonny Styles as that type of player in the Tennessee defense. And so I like that bet. Caleb Downs to the Giants. I bet Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech, linebacker, to go in the first round at 4-1 odds. I bet that. I think that's actually a pretty good play. Rodriguez, if you watch college football a lot, I don't think there was a better defensive player in the nation last year than Rodriguez. And I think he could go in the 20s in late first round at 4-1 odds. It's worth a bet. Steelers position of first drafted player, offensive lineman. Same with the Chargers. I took the Bills position of first drafted player to be a linebacker at plus 750. Niners position of first drafted player, offensive lineman, even money. Seahawks first player, cornerback, plus 150. And Tim Murray talked me into this one last night. He told me about this prop up at William Hill. Diego Pavia, the dwarf quarterback from Vanderbilt, is his draft position is 200.5. That's the middle of the 6th round.
Right.
And the price was high, but minus 200. I laid the price last night, and I know Tim did too. I can't see him getting drafted. I can't see that happening, so I think that's worth laying a price there.
What grade would you give the Houston Rockets offense?
F. It's one of the worst I've ever effing seen. I want to say this, that Ime Udoka gets a lot of credit from the media for being a good coach. He sucks. He really is. He can't coach offense worth a damn. Last night, I was laughing out loud at that circus crap that the Rockets were running on the offensive end of the floor. They don't even run plays.
Nope.
They don't run anything. How bad was KD last night? 1 for 4 from 3, 9 turnovers. It's a low IQ basketball team. I can't say one good thing about the Rockets. They'll probably win game 3 just because that's the way these series go, and they're the favorite, and they're down 0-2 going home. But if you watch this team, it's such a poorly coached, low IQ basketball team. It makes me wonder what people were thinking when the Rockets were minus 600 to win this series. Yeah. I know the Lakers are shorthanded, but still, the shorthanded Lakers team has handled the Rockets pretty easily last night.
I can't stand him. I think the team absolutely stinks, and I think he should get fired once they lose in the playoffs. I think he's done a terrible job here. Matt, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow before the draft, but good luck with everything, okay?
Thanks. You got it.
There you go. We'll run down our best bets, recap last night's action. Bad idea genes out of me to trust and think of positive outcomes for the Rockets last night.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it, take it, take it. I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-to-1 odds. Nope. 5-to-1. Nope. 10-to-1. You're on.
Winner with the Blazers. They went outright. Choke job by San Antonio, up 14 with 8 minutes left. The Lightning win, but it was in overtime. So the win in regulation, no good. And Portland wins the game, and Denny only has 14 and didn't do much in the second half. It was a ton of scoot. Terrible loss by the Spurs.
Remember what I pointed out yesterday? Pay attention to that kind of thing. With Denny's points,
Yeah.
FanDuel begging you to bet the over.
Yeah.
Begging you.
He had 30 and 10 in the first game.
And they offered
Been
plus,
so good.
They had plus 104 on it. Every other place was minus like 125, minus 130 under.
Yep.
And they're good at that.
Yep. We rock and roll tomorrow. All the pending in the drafts. It's getting fun now. A day away.
I'm sorry, other people were plus money under.
Yeah.
I'm going to clean that up. Yep, sorry.
Now, I don't know. This is just bizarre what Udoka's doing.
Oh, the Shepherd bet is... Yep.
Now, is Shepard most threes in the series, and now he hardly plays last night, which you need offense, and that guy can give it to you, and he only doesn't get many minutes. Sengun, most rebounds in the series. Knicks Hawks to go over 5.5 games. Durant, most points in the series. Giants to draft Malinoa, or the better way to say it, how it's worded at Caesars, to go 5th, plus 380. Fano to go 6th, plus 575. That's down to the co-favorite at 3-1, as the Tate stuff appears to be a smokescreen. Tottenham to stay up in the Prem, minus 170. Mitchell, most three-pointers in the series. Bruins, plus a game and a half. Quarterbacks over 1.5 in the first round. Wedgwood, Conn Smythe, Man City to win the Prim, $1.40. Do you have an updated number? As they beat Burnley today. They're now even with Arsenal. I know they had a disappointing year snuck in, but how the Kings are playing this with this bizarre, mush hockey, what they're doing. Game 3, under 6, minus 140. 1-1 at the end of regulation. Game 1 was 2-1. Plus, there were plenty of opportunities with the power play. And the Kings' only goal was on the power play. That's how they got to play it. They got to play this ugly hockey and muck it up against Colorado. Game 3 under, Bruins and Sabres. Good tweets about how the Bruins... So it was interesting, right? That the Bruins can kind of get dirty and dare the refs to call stuff because they don't respect the Buffalo power play.
Right.
Very good. And certainly they have dominated this series other than the last 7 minutes of Game 1. Bruins to win the series. Bruins in Game 3. And I don't like what I've watched so far out of Vegas in the series. They could be down 0-2. And Utah's played well. Does Hart bounce back in Game 3? But that'll be a raucous environment. Utah in Game 3. Right back with Kane Senators under 6.5. Minus 160. Play every game under that series as well. Good luck, everyone. Excited for the draft. No one knows a damn thing.
You asked for it. I got it. Man City between minus 140 and 160 to win now.
Oh, that's it?
Depends on where you shop.
I thought they'd be higher, but I guess they have a more difficult schedule to close. But again, Arsenal's in disarray offensively, much like Houston.
Yeah. I'll raise my hand. I'm the guy who bet on positive outcomes last night in the Rockets-Lakers game. Well, I say that because I had two different Rockets bets with their players. Reed Shepherd over 17.5 PRA. Did that one win? Or did he have like 3 combined because he played 10 minutes?
I can't believe that.
No.
You need scoring. You need a guy who can knock down a shot. The crap you run, and it's bailout, hot potato. A lot of your stuff occurs in the last 6 seconds of the shot clock.
Yep.
Just fire it to him.
Udoka was asked about it, I think several times after the game, and he just cut the reporters off, basically saying, nope, never thought about putting him back in. Defense was fine.
You got to score.
You need some points. I don't care if he's the worst defender in the NBA.
Yeah.
Sengun leading scorer, nope. And then LeBron had 7 assists, so I bet him on a full unit over 8.5, and then a half unit and over 9.5. No good. New bets here. Added or pending. David Bailey still pending here at plus 185. I might add more on that. I'm not going to get out of that bet with Reese. It's been going back and forth. I might just go down with the ship and add more on Bailey. Heineman, top 10, 15-1. Cat, most points in the series, 10-1. Keita, most rebounds, 12-1. I'm with you, Wedgwood as well, at 150-1. Other pending, Yannick Sinner, French Open, plus 150. Malachi Lawrence, drafted first round tomorrow night, minus 125. New stuff here. Jags to take a running back with their first pick, 18-1. And I have officially bet Dodgers minus 2.5 runs tonight with Ohtani going on the mound against Molly. Plus 134 is out there.
Molly. Looking for an edge in baseball betting? Check out the VSiN Daily Diamond. Sharp daily baseball betting insight all season long. Jensen Lewis, Dave Ross break it all down. Lines, totals, props, and futures. Subscribe to the VSiN Daily Diamond wherever you get your podcast. And search VSiN for the full podcast lineup. Everything from the NBA and college to horse racing and more. We are the Sports Betting Network. VSiN Daily Diamond. I'm with Doug on the Phoenix Suns. I think the Suns are competitive tonight, and he's heavy on Detroit. They should bounce back. Your incredible numbers you've been giving out all week, but Detroit has to prove it to me. And Orlando's playing with house money right now. Orlando not afraid of them either. Talking trash in game one, never trailed.
Okay, so I'm going to run with this. It's on X, so I'm assuming it's true. Our producer, Luke, sent over an incredible story. Again, I mentioned this earlier in the hour. I am literally going to watch the draft tomorrow night with at least one prediction market.
You have to.
I just
this
got
is
to
going to be nuts. I know. This is great.
So there is a person on X. Their handle is Aaron J. Mars. He realized that a person with a hairdryer at the Paris airport broke a prediction market weather, like hottest temperature in Paris on April 15th, and he won $34,000. Here's the breakdown. Pauly Market was setting Paris temperature bets on a single France sensor sitting near a runway perimeter, basically unguarded. The guy bought the long shot outcome like 22 degrees Celsius when everybody expected 18 for pennies since nobody thought it would hit. Then he walked up to the probe and briefly heated the air around it with a portable heat source, spiking the reading just long enough to register as the daily max. Temperature snapped back to normal in minutes. The market resolved in his favor, and he cashed out twice on April 6th and April 15th before France caught up and filed charges. This person tracked it, said evidently in his account, made $34,000 doing this. First of all, that is an absolutely fantastic idea. And this kid, I'd like to have a beer with for talking to him about coming up with other ideas on how you can exploit stuff like this.
Like the people who lower the temperature in the hotel rooms.
Hello, Paul Bovey. It cannot be above 65 degrees from what we understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a madman right there.
Creative ways to do something.
Holy hell, Paulie, that's nuts.
Oh, God.
Are we going to buy it? It has 1,500 retweets as we speak. It's 3 million views. And that's absolutely possible.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh, man. What a world that we live in, huh?
The menu's incredible.
Oh, it's just whatever you want almost is up there.
Rainfall in New York this month, all that, yes. It's nuts. You know,
he took a shot with a hairdryer. Like, this is going to work. How does it not work? Unguarded sensor. He knew it's at the Paris airport where the actual temperature is. Oh, man. Good for him.
Are you taking the Penguins tonight? Now, this used to be, going back. This was like, I'm not joking. This was like over 80%. It rarely occurred, but in the NHL playoffs, if the home team lost the first two, you'd play them in game 3. It was over 80%. And then it got bad. And it was like, it started losing. So I'm like, oh, wow, my God. But this is, I know, season on the line. You think they're the better team, all that, but I'd be careful tonight. The Flyers are hot.
Yeah. I do have I told you about my buddy and I who won Last Man Standing with me 20 years ago. He bets pretty much all dogs in the NHL. I talked to him over the weekend. He put me on Flyers as one, and I'm on the Senators on another one. That one's not looking so good, so I'm going to let that ticket go here on the Flyers. I want to ask you if you're going to be – this is a little weird the way it's working in the Rockets-Lakers series. Again, you talk about the team down 0-2 going back home. Well, the Rockets were favored in both games 1 and 2. They lost both of them. Do you want to bet the Rockets first quarter, first half?
It's such a big number, too.
Yes, it is.
They're laying 10 for the game.
Yeah.
I could absolutely see him coming out in a 19-point quarter. And just like LeBron's blood in the water.
I'm not betting it.
They have bad chemistry. That's not going to change.
Oh, yeah, absolutely they do. Look, they might win the first quarter by 18 and the first half by 30. If you do and you bet it, congrats. I don't think I can get behind this team.
I can't get. Doug's great. I can't get behind Toronto. That seems like a good bet too coming up. But I think Cleveland. They've shut down Ingram in the entire series, and the Cavs can get whatever shot they want.
Stay tuned. Femi and Will take you through the night. Prime time here on VSiN for 4 hours of live betting. Best of luck with your bets. See ya.